Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to my first episode here. Soccer Coach KW here. My name is Kevin, and I'm here to deliver a series on coaching 7v7 soccer. This is episode one, and I hope that you'll stick around. So, who am I to tell you anything? I've been coaching for 10 plus years. I have four kids who have played soccer. Currently, the highest level soccer player I have right now is playing in MLS Next, um, doing a great job. I've coached pre-K through high school varsity and everything in between multiple times. I'm a referee. I have a degree in education, which has come in super handy for coaching soccer and some other activities I've coached competitively over the years. Um, I'm the player development director or technical director for my town and have been for a few years now. And I hold a bunch of licenses and certificates from US Soccer, United Soccer Coaches, NFHS for the high school part, and the FA over in the UK. So I have a whole bunch of those things, but more importantly, I'm just super passionate about coaching youth soccer, especially 7v7. I feel like 7v7 is the primary place to be. It is the one place that really sets kids up for a foundational experience and helps them along their way. And I'm super passionate about getting it right. Um, I like to say a lot of times that my superpower is that I've been very lucky to watch the best 7v7 and 9v9 coaches, in my humble opinion, over the years. And I've learned what works, what doesn't work, and why taking the long term approach produces the best outcomes for the kids in the long run. I really believe that the benefits of looking long term while coaching, especially at this age, just outweigh any of the advantages of trying to win your games all the time. I like to say if you're going to coach winning soccer, you'll eventually start winning games. But it's very easy to take a 7v7 team and put them in a structure and coach them in certain ways so that if you have one or two players, you can beat a lot of other 7v7 players. It's a great formula, but it doesn't develop the kids. And once they get to 9v9 and the field is twice as big, those kids disappear from the field. They're just not effective. So, who's this channel for, really? Well, this is not going to be news to any mid or upper level club coach. This is not who this is for. This is really for the town or county or however your state might organize youth soccer coach, volunteer coach, not getting paid. Your kid is now in third or fourth grade, and you've been coaching maybe kindergarten, pre-K, first grade, second grade, and now, here we are. You've had limited coaching experience. Maybe that's all you've ever coached. Maybe you love the game. Maybe you don't know it that well. Maybe you have some playing experience. But the one big challenge I have with folks who have played is playing is not the same as coaching. And if you played as an older player, perhaps in high school, coaching third and fourth graders, they're just not mini adults or mini humans. They are their own animal. They learn different ways from you and I. They learn in different ways than a high school player. They have different needs, both physically, cognitively, mentally, all those things. It's not the same animal. And most important, you're a coach who wants to make a difference. You want to coach these kids in a modern, progressive manner that puts development first and winning below that. And really, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make the best players that you can from what you have. Each individual gets better year after year, following really a big foundational steps going forwards and having a big picture in mind long term. These kids are not going to be complete soccer players until perhaps high school or beyond. And to think that you're going to be able to get them to do everything you see in the pro or college game or even the high school game in fourth grade, sorry, you're delusional. It's not going to happen. But you can take steps one piece at a time to get them along that pathway. So, who plays 7v7? Perhaps we should get with that. In most town programs, that's third and fourth graders. So, they're between 8 and 10 years old. 7v7 is the first structured soccer program that's complete. And what I mean by complete is that it concludes all the positions, has a goalkeeper, defense, midfield, and a forward, at least if you play it in the right way. So it's the first modern look at the game with all the three lines plus the keeper involved there. And in addition, because the kids are older, they start to be able to play in that structure versus what you might see from kindergarten to second grade is a little bit more of a rugby scrum, everybody just chasing the ball, right? This is where the field gets bigger, people have to spread out. One dominant player can't dribble the entire field consistently. It really now begins to look like the game of soccer. And many times at this level, tryouts were required to be placed on a team. It's the start of travel soccer in many states and town programs. At the minimum, tryouts have leveled the kids into teams so that there are similar abilities. If your team or your town doesn't do that, that's great too. There are arguments to be made about having the kids just mixed up because honestly, those tryouts for second grade players, there are so many misses in that first year, and between third and fourth grade, so many teams kind of readjust if you work on a grade-based program. And the best player that had the highest score in third grade, a lot of times that kid just had a fantastic day that day, and in the long term, perhaps they're a little bit more challenged with some of their skills or coordination or things like that, and there are other players that get overlooked. So it is a mixed bag. It is not a straight line in any way, shape, or form. So, what do you need to know if you're going to coach this? It's important to know that this is the beginning of your player's journey. This is not the end. It's not even close. Patience is the key as a coach. They're kids. They're going to act like kids. Kids these days, a lot of them have challenges in school and out of school. And as a coach, you're going to inherit all of those things with perhaps not the supports that those kids are used to having at home or in school, depending on who you have. You just have to roll with it and understand that that's the gig. That's what's going on. You have to understand you have 2 years, 2 full years to get them ready for 9v9, where this field is twice as big again. We add 2 players, but you have 2 full years. And in most programs, that means a fall and a spring, and then the next year, another fall and the spring. So it is useful to think about it in maybe terms of like 4 10-week chunks. And if you're lucky enough to be able to get your kids to play some sort of winter soccer, whether it's indoor or futsal or something else, perhaps you get some more time with them. But that's usually the stated minimum that you're going to have them is about 40 weeks, and you have to kind of think of it that way. Uh, you have to understand that third and fourth graders are far more capable of learning things than most people give them credit. We're going to look at some things as we go forward. The soccer numbering system, where you number the positions, a number 6, a number 8, a 7, a 10. And I'm telling you, your kids will be able to learn those and understand them in about 2 weeks. I've been told for years and years that third graders, there's no way they can learn those. Why they're going to get confused? It's not the number on the back of their jersey. They'll be confused. I'm telling you, I've done it multiple times. Kids don't have to remember what they're working on next week or how many meetings they have or have to call that vendor. They have none of that in their brains. They have a huge capacity to take on information, especially information that you can make concrete to them and make sense to them. So they're more capable of that. But the converse of that is the application of those skills and knowledge will be consistently inconsistent. To third and fourth graders, to 8, 9, 10 years old, there's lots going on developmentally that the one week it's going to be the best team you've ever seen, and the next week you're going to swear that you've never coached them before and they've never played soccer before. It's just how it is. You have to understand there's going to be lots of ups and downs as you go forward with that. So what am I going to do? What's my goals on this channel? My goals really is I hope to impress upon you how important the long-term player development model is for your kids. If you can understand that you are at the beginning of that and you perhaps have the most influence on these kids as they go forward by giving them a really solid base and foundation for success in the future, then I've succeeded, because that's really what I feel, and that's really what I've seen time in, time out, is that the kids who have really good coaches in this grade 3 and 4 timeline go on consistently to reach their potential as they go forward, as long as they have good coaches going forward. But they always are starting out the best players or the best skilled, best knowledgeable players on the field as they go forward. And then it's up to them to take that and run with it. I hope to give you a tactical understanding of soccer that will help guide your decisions. I understand we are not a soccer playing nation. We do not have a rich culture and background. And you may watch things on the pro game, watching Premier League on a Saturday, watching a Liverpool or a Man U, or watching Barcelona, all those things. It's great to watch those things, and it's great to pick up some of the things that they talk about, the pundits talk about. But there is also a limit to what you can take from that and apply to third and fourth graders. On the other hand, having that big picture tactical knowledge and taking the time to relay that information in an appropriate manner to those third and fourth graders will make them smarter players. The best soccer players are the best decision makers, and the only way they can make decisions is if they learn what their options are, and then they're allowed to experiment and make those decisions for themselves in the game. But they have to have some background. They don't have that background. They don't grow up watching soccer at a level with somebody who understands it, like their dad, like their mom, like their brother, like their cousins, like their grandfather. They don't get that. At least most kids don't. So having that tactical understanding helps. 7v7 is, in my opinion, the formation that is best suited for the long-term development. And while there are lots of different ways to play 7v7, and we'll talk about them, there's one that seems to be more universally agreed upon as the one to use, and I'm a huge proponent of it, and we'll go through that. So we'll do some just basically, how do I line my kids up? We'll have some sessions on that. I'm going to give you some training sessions. I'm going to give you some very specific training sessions in terms of like, hey, here's a whole complete session that you can do with your kids. And I'm also then going to also give you, hey, here are some ways to set up your training sessions in bigger picture sort of an understanding so that you can be flexible and say, oh, today I want to work on X. You can put that in a framework and feel comfortable about developing a session plan without having to download these plans from all over the internet and trying to figure out what they mean and how they mean. And to be honest, even my state association, they provide them every year, fall and spring. And I'm not necessarily sure they really understand who is going to be A, coaching those lessons, and B, who's going to be learning those lessons, because they're sometimes just too difficult for anyone to really understand and execute correctly. So being able to have that general knowledge to be able to say, hey, I can structure my day in such a way that I can be consistent. My kids will understand how to get ready in a drill, but then I can be flexible with what I do with those drills and focus on different things. Um, it'll be a sustainable model that you can use to develop your players year over year. Really, those 2 years, being able to sustain that effort, sustain that drive and progression by being consistent with them and being able to build piece by piece as you go forward. And also, I'll try and give you a glimpse into the future, that long-term planning. What does it look like for that player as they move from 7v7 to 9v9 to 11v11? The full 11v11 game seems like a long way off when you're looking at third and fourth graders and saying, I can't imagine these kids running around on a full, 110-yard by 70-yard pitch. How? I can't see it. They can barely make it down a 45-yard field. They'll get there. And hopefully I can give you a glimpse as to how you can look at, especially if you're going to be a coach for a long term and maybe stay with these kids over the next 6 years before they get to high school, how you can structure your play so that each year you're able to make the leap when you get into that third year and you move to 9v9, and then 4 years in you move into 11v11. You've prepared your kids step by step to get there. So I hope I've given you some information that will make you want to stick with me. I promise I am super passionate about this, and I have some great content for you. Not all of it is original. Again, I've been able to witness some fantastic 7v7 coaches, and really, you take from the best and you use what you can. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to give you something back that you can use in your programs going forward. So till the next episode, thank you very much. Have a great day.